Hey y'all, I haven't went live in a little bit. My husband and I just went to, we vacationed. Look how freaking dark my face is. I don't know if you can see my legs. My legs are dark too. Anyways, back into our routine, and Wednesday is Holistic Health. So I want to talk to you about what my thoughts are on holistic health for this week. Okay, so I just came back from all-inclusive, all I could eat. I gained 1.9 pounds, which I'm like, well, that's nothing. And here is part of our holistic health talk for today is whenever I was talking to some Canadians there and people from other countries, and we were talking about United States, and they were talking about their country and stuff, and they all agreed that our country's trying to kill us with the foods. Yeah, that was, it's so weird that is like common knowledge for people in other countries, that our country is pumping our foods full of stuff that they're not supposed to. So that was just like common knowledge for people from Canada, common knowledge for people from France and Germany and other states. So, great. All right. So my goal I looked at it between now and January 1st, we have 2 Thanksgivings, 1 Christmas meal. Mary, I do feel refreshed. Somebody just said I look refreshed. I feel refreshed, and I've worked my butt off all day. So y'all aren't even seeing like what I look like when we first came back. So anyways, 2 Thanksgivings, 1 Christmas, got a birthday in there, and I think there might be one more meal, right? So I was listening to this person the other day, and they said, it's Thanksgiving, not thanks shoveling, okay? Like, you don't have to go crazy with the foods. It's not like you can't take some home with you, probably, or that you're not going to get another good meal like that. Like, you don't have to just overindulge. You can still be okay during those holiday meals. So my goal, the smallest I've been this year is 309. Largest was 333. And that was at the end of last year. And so my goal is to get down to 308, okay, between now and January 1st. So I think it helps a lot that we are, of those 5 meals that we have that are going to be, holiday meals or whatever, and we've got 2 of them in the next 2 days, and then the other 3 are spread out between now and January 1st. So tomorrow, with Thanksgiving coming up, I'm going to fast other than my coffee and a ketone until 1 o'clock. So I won't break the bank, okay? And now, since I've been wearing my, that Lingo, that glucose monitor, I know how bad the candies hurt me. And so I'll be able to refrain from those and just eat the things that I really want to eat. So there's that. All right, here's your big holistic talk, okay? I've been reading this dang book, and it talks about this, and I'm going to do more research over it, okay? So this is like my initial trying to take what I've learned and put it into words, okay? But they talk about how there's number 2 corn is not for human consumption. So they use it for feeding animals too, okay? Feeding it to animals. Well, some of those, okay, so this number 2 corn that's not built for human consumption, they're feeding it to chickens and to hogs and to, in the feedlot for cattle. So indirectly, we're eating all of that number 2 corn, okay? They also talk about in this book that I'm reading, it talks about all the things that are made from number 2 corn that go into foods that we eat. So indirectly, we are eating a crap ton of something that we're not supposed to consume. There's other corns that are not number 2 corn that are like human grade. So some of the things that are derived from number 2 corn is maltodextrin, freaking high fructose corn syrup, ethanol, corn whiskey. Well, it can be processed into that. What else was there? Citric acid. Okay. Citric acid makes me think that it's citrus. Okay. Doesn't make me think it's made from corn. In this book, it talked about how it could say natural raspberry flavoring, and that actually be something that's derived from number 2 corn. And I'm like, ooh, I feel myself getting really upset. And it also talks about how salmon that are not wild caught, they're being fed this corn. And then it made me think about how much faster animals are having to be raised compared to when they were naturally slaughtered before for us to eat, right? So like chickens, they've decreased that and industrialized that, and they're fed corn. And then the hogs, one time I got my hand on 3 hogs like during COVID that they needed to, supply and demand was messed up, and being able to process was messed up because of COVID. But I got 3 hogs that had never touched the earth before, and they were so freaking happy to be outside, but they were just fed corn. And so cattle are not designed to eat just corn. They're designed to eat all sorts of things, to roam around and to eat, right? And so they can't even digest that all the way. That corn has to be manipulated, and they're having to be given antibiotics and stuff like that because it's making them like sick, and it makes them sick to be in more confined areas. So my holistic thing is like, man, I didn't even realize, like my husband and I raise our own chickens, right? I bought corn for them. Like, even though we're raising our own damn chickens, I was being part of the problem. I did not realize how many things are coming from this corn. So I was like, we're done. I'm going to have to back up from that and try to not indirectly eat so much of something that is not meant for us. Okay. It also talked about how between the farmers and the consumers, the companies that are in the middle are the ones that are making all the money, and they want to make more money off of us, right? So how do they do that? They can either increase the price of food, or they can help us eat more. Okay? Now here I am. I'm an obese woman. I probably should have the term, like, they have different levels of obesity. I'm probably morbidly obese or grossly obese, one of those really nice words that they put with the word, like obese isn't bad enough. There's different levels. And with my weight being over 300 pounds, I know I'm into like a not very nice name that's going to go with my obesity, which crushes my heart. I'm working on it. Every day of my life, I'm working on being a better person. However, whenever I was reading this book, and this book is called The Omnivore's Dilemma, it talks about how all of those derived products that are being these emulsifiers and thickeners and things that have no reason to be in there other than extending the shelf life, some of them are sweeter than sugar, so it makes us crave more. And then in this book, it talked about the whole science behind increasing the sizes of our portions. And the whole reason that got started, is because people did not want to buy more than one portion, but they would justify it in their head with buying one portion that's larger, especially if it was just a little bit more money, right? So guys, we are being poisoned. We're being marketed to, but evilly, okay? And then they're doing this to make money, right? Make money. So my thoughts, this book is changing my life. And I know that some of it's, it's, I don't know, 15, 20 years old, right? I know that I need to fact check it and look back on it and stuff more with what has been learned now. But A, I know that corn is fed to everything, and B, I know that animals are being reproduced quicker and they have to grow up faster to be able to keep up with how many people there are on the planet to feed. But think about this right here. If something happened to corn, or there's going to be a ton of people without food. And then what book is it? It's called Omnivore's Dilemma. Like, we're an omnivore because we eat plant and animals, okay? The fact that some of the feed lots for cattle are feeding them chicken litter and pork litter, which is like ground up stuff, that would make cattle an omnivore. They're not an omnivore, they're an herbivore. And then some of the feedlots don't feed any kind of animal product anymore. They just feed corn, but the cattle are not designed to eat that. So they're having to give them an enzyme to help the corn feed the enzyme, and then the enzyme feed the cattle. Dude, how about we just let cows eat what they're supposed to eat, which is like grasses. But we can't now because there's too many freaking people to feed. So what that means to me is, holy smokes, I want to get all of my knowledge and my verbiage correct, and I want to, anybody that's listening to me, I want to be able to help them, right? Because I'm geared like that. I'm geared to help people. With my background, I am a mother hen, and I want to help people. So like, the first thing I'm going to do is make a list of things that are made from corn, and I'm going to avoid those because in between the farmer and the consumer, okay, is the people that are getting rich off of making us unhealthy. So F them. Oh my gosh. I worked out, going to be 3 times today, because I'm like, all right, I really want to get below 300 pounds. I have struggled, and, I'm going to chill out with my portion sizes. And, I've told my husband, I was like, I want to start, whenever we eat out somewhere, I just want to automatically half it, because they're feeding us so much more. And that's just our brain, where our body is storing fat to prepare for famine, but famine doesn't happen. But famine could happen easier than what we realize, since all of our freaking meat sources are eating basically the same vegetable. So, all right, somebody asked me if organic corn is okay. I'm going to have to do more research, because in the book, it talked about some corns are okay, some corns are not. So I'm gonna say yes. If it's grown for human consumption, yes. But there's some corn that's not made for human consumption. my husband loves freezer corn. I love corn. I want to grind my own cornmeal. Do you know, whenever I went to the Amish and I was like, hey, because I'm now grinding my own wheat, right, for my own fresh milled flour, because I have that MTHFR genes, right? Because not only have they jacked with corn and jacked with beef and jacked with chicken and jacked with pork, but they've messed with wheat, okay? They've messed with everything. But, you know, I wanted to get my own corn to mill for my own cornmeal. And so I was just like, dude, I want something, no pesticides have touched it. I don't want it to be hybridized. I don't want anything. I just want like the corn that people were eating a couple hundred years ago. Okay, that's all I want. It's just regular corn. Okay. He didn't know where to get it. Like, we can buy cornmeal and we can buy all sorts of stuff, but he didn't know where to get it. I know the Amish don't have the internet and stuff like that, but it means I'm going to have to do some freaking research. And I don't want to buy cornmeal that's already been milled. I want to mill it myself because I want to get, I know like with wheat, as soon as you mill it, then it starts losing its nutritional value. Okay. The fact that you can buy flour that's been milled, you know, and ground into flour and it's good for a year, that's not normal. Okay. But we don't know that that's not normal. Right? My fresh mill flour starts losing nutritional value within a couple of hours. I end up freezing it immediately, but a lot of people don't know to store their flour like that. A lot of people got a bag that's in a canister that's sitting on their counter for God knows how long, right? Anyways, this is my holistic talk. I hate that I'm telling y'all all that crap right before we're about to do a big old Thanksgiving meal. It made me, whenever I was in Mexico and I was reading part of that book, it just like, you know, you can't get away from it unless you cook at your house, you know, unless you're eating your, you know, the beef that you've let roam around. And a lot of people don't have that ability, you know, but it made me really want to get a community of people and be like, you're in charge of this, you're in charge of that. You know, it really makes me want to step up with finding all of my, like a network of people, you know, and then make sure I have like a skill set to trade with somebody. So, all right. My husband just texted me and he made me an omelet and he said I better be on my way. So I'm going to get off here tomorrow. I'm going to do a big Thanksgiving thing about, you know, different things that I'm grateful for. And I'm back on track with being live. And I have got the coolest vlog for y'all about our vacation. And if you've seen what I posted, I sit down and talk to the person in charge of their, I'm going to start vacationing with people, with y'all, if you wanted to come, and then have like different levels where you could just vacation with us at the same time. But I also want to have like goal setting stuff and teaching things while we're there. A lot of people they don't have anybody to travel with. And we have all sorts of people to travel with. So anyways, I'm looking into that, and I just got cool stuff. Here, I don't know if you can hear. I'm going to show you this right here. I'm going to upset my husband a little bit because he wants me to be coming in. But this is what I did today. This is going to be so gross to look at. Not gross, but like overwhelming for a lot of people. So this is every one of those. I'm going through a rule book. This is the last one that I made. It's my Country Tough Trail Versatility rule book. Ah, shit. Anyways, this is what I've been updating and going through every page and updating everything. So that's this is what it did look like. And the one that's going to be printed, this is, because we have horses and mules that are allowed, so I'm putting a picture of a mule on the cover for this year. So that's what I did today. Then I've got to go through and save each one of those pictures and upload it to have it printed. And that's what I've been working on. I needed to get this done. And then I start contacting everyone back that's contacted us since we've been gone. And that is overwhelming. I'm going to be emailing people back tomorrow and messaging them back, but I won't call them on Thanksgiving. But I'll be contacting everyone that I can, just so I can get everybody contacted back. But I had to get this dang rule book done. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all tomorrow.